Next up is Michigan. Secret scrimmage this time. They played Marquette. Marquette, 5th in the country in the preseason AP poll. When I was told that this game was going to happen, I expected Marquette to win handily. I do not have the highest expectations for Michigan in general. The reports are, without seeing any film anywhere on it, the reports are from the secret scrimmage, Michigan won 115 to 111. That's notable insane for a few reasons. That sounds like an NBA game. I'm pretty sure they ran this like an NBA game. It was 48 minutes. It wasn't 40 minutes. I don't know if they played like NBA shot clock rules or what it was, but it was a real game. It was a scrimmage. They played 4 12-minute quarters, though, is what I was told. Here are some of my bullet point takeaways. These are notes that I got from, I'm not going to reveal from who actually, but somebody that was in the gym. Doug was not great. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. The story of this game was not like Doug McDaniel went crazy. There were a ton of turnovers as a whole. Everybody on Michigan was turning it over, and they still managed to reach 115 points and win the game. Terrence Williams started. Trey Jackson did not start. Terrence Williams looked better than Trey Jackson in this game. T. Will was hitting threes and in general looked good. Terrace Reed, 17-8, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Olivier Kamwa, 17-9. Overall, I was told how Michigan won this game. Physically dominant. And it started with those two guys. No Llewellyn, no Jace. Michigan only played 9 members in this game. I'm very surprised Jace Howard didn't get in an exhibition setting. George Washington III was the backup guard at both positions, backup point guard and backup shooting guard. He was hitting threes off the bounce, had a couple assists. Overall, looked like a rotation guy from day one. Namari Burnett led the team in shot attempts. He finished with 14-7, 3 for 6 from 3. He also played the most minutes in the game. Super balanced. Of the 9 players Michigan played, 8 of them had between 12 and 17 points. Only one did not, and you can deduce that the one that did not was Yusuf Kayet. And finally, Michigan made 35 free throws in this game. Speaking back to the point of physical dominance in this game, they won this game asserting their will at the rim, getting to the free throw line, and then making free throws. Over 80% as a team, finishing with 35 made free throws. So obviously, this is a great result for a Michigan team that has 0 expectations going into the season. It also might be a little bit of an indictment, maybe a large indictment on who Marquette is. Marquette clearly missed Omax. He's gone. Oso is the only front court guy that's back. Their only player over 6'7" is Oso Ighodaro.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, do you know if all Marquette's players played? Do you know that?
Or... Marquette's players all played. It was Oso and Joplin in the front court, and then Ben Gold, who's more of a stretch pick and pop guy. So,
got it.
Yeah, Marquette, not the most imposing front court, but regardless, the team that won the Big East last year, won the Big East regular season tournament, and certainly looks on paper to be a top 10 team in the country. So, how surprised are you with this result?
I'm very surprised. I'll be honest with you. I think everyone's surprised. I think even Michigan fans themselves, Michigan players might even be surprised. Not surprised that I'm sorry, surprised that they won this game. I honestly was ready to come to this episode, talk Michigan on Monday when we did, and be like, Michigan kept it close with Marquette, or Michigan hung in there with Marquette. The fact that they were able to physically dominate this basketball game, and I think that's the key. Because for me, whenever I talked about Michigan basketball and how they're going to look successful this year, I talk about how they're going to have to get it done defensively, and down low, they're going to have to maul people. Like Olivier and Kamwa and Terrace Reed are going to have to physically assert themselves and physically dominate basketball games down low when other teams especially don't have the size and or girth, to hang with these guys. So the fact that they were able to do that while also making their free throws as well, I think is a very, very positive sign. Beating Marquette, physically dominating Marquette's a very, very good sign. Marquette is a top 5 team for a reason. You got to give them their credit. Might have some more questions about them, but it is what it is. They're still one of the best teams, easily top 10 team in the country. I think that's very safe to say. So credit to Michigan for doing that, winning that scrimmage. I think it bodes well for them moving forward. But I will say this. I was told all offseason that Trey Jackson is the 3 and Trey Jackson is the guy and Trey Jackson pops and Trey Jackson could have some NBA murmurings and offer that for Terrence Williams to start over him and play better than him. So I I take that as a negative in my eyes.
Yeah, you know who hasn't been telling you that?
You?
Me. I don't want to do too many victory laps, but I'm kind of in victory lap mode on this Monday. A lot of what happened this weekend with these 5 teams we're talking about are pretty much things that I have been camping for all season. I said Trey Jackson's not an impact guy. If he's going to start, good luck. Well, he didn't start. I've been saying people have been downplaying all summer. Everyone's been telling me Terrence Williams is going to be relegated to the role. They went out and got 2 guys to play his position to play over him. He's going to be a Jace Howard type impact. No, there's a really good chance Terrence Williams has to start at the 3 on this team because Michigan failed to go get a 3. And like it or not, Terrence Williams started and played 26 minutes on Michigan last year. The coaching staff isn't just going to totally go away from that in favor of a guy who could never crack Seton Hall's rotation. Like, what am I missing on this? And look, jokes aside, I want to say this. Terrence Williams deserves a ton of credit for the way he has approached this offseason, because it is objectively true that the coaching staff entered this offseason with their biggest priority being, we need to get players to come in and play over Terrence Williams. That's what they did. That's what the Kamwa ad was. That's what the Trey Jackson ad was. They got 2 guys who were supposed to come in and take Terrence Williams' role. What did Terrence Williams do about it? He could have hit the portal. He could have just shut down. He could have complained. He knows the Michigan fan base doesn't like him and is rooting for people to take his spot. What did he do? He reshaped his body. He got a brand new jump shot. And look, I'm not buying. I'm not saying Terrence Williams is like a breakout player. I'm not saying it's great for the team that he's starting. But I think he deserves a bunch of credit because he is a different player. From the video that I have seen, and there isn't video from this game, but there was video from the first game, he's a totally different player. He moved down a position. His body's completely different. He lost weight, and his jump shot is different. It's a different jump shot. There's no hitch anymore. He was afraid to shoot, and the shot was ugly last year. This year, I told you, he was catching and shooting contested threes and hitting them in the scrimmage I saw. And that's the report was he was doing this against Marquette too. So it is a change. It is something to keep an eye on. Look, if you had told me these 4 things without any additional details happened in the Michigan Marquette scrimmage, if you had told me Marquette scored 111 points, Doug McDaniel did not play as many minutes and didn't play as well as you would hope, they had a turnover rate in the 30s, and Terrence Williams started, I would have assumed Marquette won 111 to 46. That would have been my thought. All 4 of those things happening and Michigan winning this game is absurd to me. It's hard for me to process without seeing it. I just can't fathom how it happened. Like I think I was texting you and DK. If this really happened, Doug McDaniel must have been crazy good. He wasn't crazy good. Everybody's like, no, Doug was fine. The team just scored 115. That's crazy. I thought there was no recipe for this Michigan team being good other than Doug being phenomenal. So the fact that they can go up against a team as veteran heavy as Marquette that is very balanced, especially in the backcourt, my eyes are open. My ears are open. I want to see this team now because I want to know how the hell it happened.
Greg, I don't know why it took me this long. I apologize. Maybe it's Monday. I don't know what it is. Maybe I didn't have my Monday coffee yet. Maybe I don't know what we can necessarily call that. How dare I talk about this when not bring this up? Because I was told that, Marquette's backcourt, they're the nastiest backcourt in the country. Tyler Kolek's the first team All-American. He's getting dog walked by a freshman with a president's name? Interesting. They can't check a soul? Also interesting. David Joplin isn't Omax? Ben Gold isn't Omax? Who would have thought? Interesting. That's all I'll say.
I do want all the Michigan State fans out there who are using this to dunk on Marquette and not give Michigan any credit. I want to say objectively, that's a mistake. There is no way to minimize how good Marquette was for the final 2 months of last season. There's
I gave them their credit, and
I know. I'm just we had text with DK, and it wasn't just DK, but it's a lot of people's reaction to this was like, "LOL, Marquette's so overrated." And like Tyler Kolek, how is he a first-team All-American? There is no way to minimize how good Marquette was the final 2 months last season. And Kolek, like, go look at the game logs. Kolek averaged like 18, 8, and 5 on absurd percentages, and Marquette eviscerated a conference with UConn in it. Like Marquette was better. That happened. And that team returns 80% of their guys this year. And I know they're different, but like it's not, oh, they're overrated. They lost to Michigan State. That happened. Really good teams can lose to Michigan State. That was bad. I'll sell this Marquette team in March, 100%. I will sell Shaka Smart in March. I'm not selling Marquette in the regular season. They're a really good team. And my final take on this, I do think if there's one thing to take away from this result, it's that people probably are sleeping on Michigan's front court significantly too much. I think there's a world where Kamwa and Reed are like one of the best front courts in the country. Even if Michigan has nothing else, I think like there's a really good chance those two are just really damn good.
Yeah, they are. But it's also just very well, if Nkamhoua can stretch the floor, it's good, but it's also very, at least to me, not likely that you just see a front court in today's day and age just absolutely win games with physical dominance necessarily. Like a front court pair, just winning a game with just complete physical dominance. I like to believe that a team would do something to prevent that because it's preventable, at least in my eyes. Like sometimes it's hard to stop a team when they have guys to stretch the floor and also dominate inside. But all in all, a great result for Michigan basketball.
Yeah,
that's the takeaway from it.
17-8 and 17-9. I can go to sleep happy with that. If I get that consistently from my front court, like it's eye-popping numbers for me. Good job, Michigan. Way to actually make me care about the season more than I thought I would at any point. Incredible stuff. I'm really excited. Let's move on to